Hello guys, सबको मेरा pranam. I hope everyone is good. Let's begin with our topic. What is object-oriented programming? In this, I will cover each and every topic of OOPS, what we call that pillars, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction. We will cover each and everything in this series. Let's begin with that definition. What is object-oriented programming? Object-oriented programming is a way to write code. It puts the data and the functions that change the data together in one place. That is called an object, and the blueprint for the object is called a class. These are the main things in our OOPS concept, object and class. In one line, OOP organizes code around objects, small self-contained units that hold their own data and enforce their own rules. The point is to keep change small. When something changes, only one class should need to change. I think these things are getting little bit confused or not getting clear point. Let's have the clear things about this. But stay tuned. I will go one by one. Let's have our first topic, why OOP exists. Before going to learn anything, we need its history, right? So let's begin with this. The problem with procedural code and the day a manager broke 30 of your functions. Oops. OOP is a way to write code. It puts data and the functions that change that data together in one box. The box is called an object. The blueprint for that box is called class. The world before object-oriented programming. Programmers used it to write code in a procedural style. Data sat in one place, functions sat in another. Every function had to take the data as parameters, do its work, and return a result. This was fine for a 100-line script. It became painful for hundreds and thousands of line app. Three reasons. Data and behavior drift apart. A change in the data shape forces edits in dozens of unrelated functions. No rules are enforced. Any code can write any value anywhere. There is no central place that says a price can never be negative. The mental model breaks down. You have to keep the whole program in your head to be sure you didn't miss a function. These are hectic things in the procedural. So let's have a story of Swiggy app. Imagine you are building Swiggy without Oops concept. You need to track 1,000 restaurants. Each has a name, address, rating, phone, opening hours, menu, and an open close flag. You start with loose variables like name 1, Pizza Hut, address 1, Koramgala, rating 1, is open or not, and so on, so on, so on. For we have to continue this for thousands of restaurants. Then you place order. Function takes a long list of parameters. Def place order, name, address, phone is these variables we have to mention, and if not is open, return close. If total less than 100, return min order is 100, return order place. This is a sample code which I am going to explain about this Swiggy story. Now, your product manager says, please add a WhatsApp number to every restaurant. You add WhatsApp 1 through WhatsApp 1000. You update, place order to accept and use it. Then show menu. Then send receipt. Then notify owner. You update 30 functions. You miss one, the app crashes in production. So, what is the fix you got with the object-oriented programming? OOP says write one class called restaurant that lists everything a restaurant has and everything it can do. Make 1,000 objects from that blueprint. Each carries its own copy of the data. It's like a blueprint of a car, and we are making different models. Car is our class object, and we have different classes like we have BMW car, we have Rolls Royce, etc., etc., etc. So car design is same. That has four tires, it has engine, it has a model like this. You will modify some of those things and its quality, whatever it may be. That's similar to this. So when the manager says add WhatsApp, you edit the class once, all 1,000 restaurants get the field for free. The blast radius of the change is one file. See how good the code is looking? You create a class first. Inside that, you will add name, address, phone book, and you will call a function where if a person place order, if not self is open, return close. If it is not open, then you should return the close. It's simple logic. Total sum. I means the recurrence calling it itself. The items, how many items you have. If you have 1,000, then you will recall that. So if total less than 100, return mean order. This is sample code. No need to go inside. But I'm showing the difference. Earlier, what we do, see how many names you will create like this name 1, 2, 3, 4, and rating 1, 2, 3, 4, and again you will call a function, it will go on, go on, go on. If one change is needed, you need to change everywhere. It's becoming very big hectic. That fix brought in the Swiggy application example, the creating class and taking the objects as a blueprint. So you got the meaning right? Oops says write one class called restaurant that lists everything a restaurant has and everything it can do. Make 1,000 objects from the blueprint. Each carries its own copy of the data. Right? So the blast radius of change is 1 file. So what OOP gives you? Smaller changes. One change stays inside one class. Real rules. A class can refuse to enter a bad state. Negative balances become impossible. Code that groups by thing. Everything about restaurants live in restaurant.py, a file which you create. Parallel teamwork. Three engineers can work on order, payment, and notification without colliding. They have their functions, they have their files, they edit in that. No need to collide. His changes. So the point is clear. And the vocabulary that scales. What do you mean this? The order needs a payment is easier to discuss than passing amounts around. The big idea of OOP is not really about classes, pillars, or fancy